Narrating.
Hey guys, we're back. This is Fallstreak. Though freedom was within reach, I control my gait with rigid discipline. Just as I'm about to escape, though. Attention all channels. Halt all personnel attempting to leave the grounds. A reverberating voice breaks the glass lock on my heart. Use of force is authorized. I stop in place. The world felt like it had gone deathly still. Hey you, stop right there. A fragile balance. Without hesitation, As he reaches out, I snatch his hand and dip, twisting his wrist back in one fluid motion. Shatter that balance. My steel flickers around his eyes as I bring him to his knees, blinding him. Gah! Streamers of blood chase after me as I dash off, bobbing and weaving through the crowd of onlookers. Get her! Get out of the way! Screams and shrieks pierce the air as the guard detachment mobilizes to give chase. Having committed the layout of the area to memory, I knew that the closest array of alleys was to my right. Once I break free of the throng, I make a beeline for it. As I pass through the mouth of an alley, my ears catch an order being issued from behind. East perimeter, come in. Suspect is heading in your direction through the alleys. They're wearing a nurse uniform and are armed and hostile. Intercept them. After making several turns through the convoluted alley system at full speed, I cut down on my momentum and hone my hearing. The sound of pounding footsteps. Positioning myself behind the next corner, I wait until my target is on the verge of passing, before leaping from the shadows with a high-angle feint. Caught off guard, he lifts his sword over his head to try and parry the foe attack. But before our blades make contact, I drop him down and close in, pressing his elbow up to prevent him from bringing his blade to bear. Tracing a tight arc through his gullet, I plunge past him and start running in the direction he had come from. However, I find their coverage to be tighter than expected. I was getting boxed in. Eyeing a door at the end of the alley, I rattle it, only to find it locked. It appeared to be an old spring-loaded mechanism without a bolt. Slipping my knife into the door slit, I pry the jammed striker plate as far away as the frame it'll go. Then, wedging a throwing knife into the keyhole, I yank around in an attempt to cause as much damage as possible. When I hear a telltale clatter, I draw back and kick in the area next to the doorknob as hard as I can. The door swings open as the wood gives in and the lock falls apart. Footsteps on my 6. Someone was almost right on top of me. Leaping inside, I grab the door and swing it backwards with all my might. Rather than flee further in, though, I stand my ground. The moment the door swings open for my target's barreling figure, I whip in and throw my knife at his face. Gah! My target stumbles as the knife sinks into his eye socket. Before he hits the ground, I step in and around his sword, my blade flashing through his carotid. Twirling away to the sound of arterial spray, I press deeper into the visibly abandoned house. Beyond one of the windows was an open area. I snap the rusty fastenings open and dive outside as the sound of pounding footsteps echo through the building. As I roll back onto my feet, I retrieve a throwing knife and hurl it at the window as my pursuer tries to follow. A cry of pain rings out as their lead doubles over, temporarily blocking the exit point. 2 throwing knives left. Locating a series of alleys leading away from the open area, I take off with due haste. Escape was imminent at this rate. I had scoped this area out thoroughly beforehand. However, several turns later, I come to a crushing halt. I had forgotten to take something into account. A wall of rubble that must have fallen from the surrounding unstable buildings was blocking my path to freedom. Though I tried to double back, I find myself cornered. It was an area in the process of clearing away debris, so there were few escape points. In that case, I'll have to fight. 3 enemies. Careful, she's dangerous. The guards ready their swords as they fan out to encircle me. Acting before they can completely surround me, I launch myself at one of the guards on my flank. Watch out! However, it is only a feint. At the sound of footsteps behind me, I twist and whip a throwing knife at the second guard as he rushes forward to cover his comrade. The knife lances into his arm, causing his sword to fly out before him. Reversing my momentum, I snatch the sword out of the air and sink it into the owner's neck as I drop back. I crouch and spin away as the third guard slashes a wide arc at my head. Anticipating a remise on my hind side, I slide and kick off the wall before me, crossing my opponent up as he lunges forward. As I do, I hurl my final throwing knife into the back of his knee, crippling him as I roll onto my feet. On my right. Detecting an oncoming attack from the first guard, I twist and try to parry. However, the angle is off, and I end up being thrown off balance by the overpowering strike. In that split second, I knew. I couldn't evade the next attack. Resolving to take the blow, I lunge forward in a desperate counterattack, gouging into my opponent's throat as the base of his blade cleaves into my flank. Crushing pain spikes through my body as I pull free and stagger away. I only manage several steps before collapsing, though. Dang you. As the last remaining guard limps over to me and raises his sword, a final desperate surge of energy grips my body. I deny it. Gripping my knife by the blunt of the blade, I muster all my remaining strength and whip it skyward. A cacophony of sounds fills the air as the pulley system lifting rubble overhead gives. Though my target senses the debris plummeting toward him, due to his injured leg, he is unable to avoid being haplessly crushed. Having dove away to avoid the carriage, I pull myself through the dust until I reach a wall. Using it to support my body, I force myself to my feet despite the searing pain. I need to get away from here. Sticky. Warm. Wet. As I stumble down the street, I feel my organs try to spill out from under my hand. Sensing a large amount of footsteps, I hide myself in the shadows of a building. She came this way, didn't she? A group of townspeople bearing torches and impromptu weapons were sweeping the streets. The rumors say she's been using her role as a nurse to steal the hospital's only way of curing the burns. Even though as many people need it. How awful. She's been diluting the salve and selling it at inflated rates in order to make a fortune. I heard it from someone she tried to sell to. How unforgivable. The kidnappings, too, she must be behind them as well. How dare she exploit this tragedy in order to profit from our suffering? We can't let her get away with this. We can't let her get away. What is this? A bloodlust so palpable it felt cloying was emanating from them. It didn't matter how true any of what they were saying was. It was like an echo chamber. Their wish for an enemy to direct their anger and frustration toward was so overpowering, they were willing to discard even their rationality. Dang it. I won't be able to make it back at this rate. Our old place is near here. When the mob passes, I dip into my dwindling reserves of strength and lug my heavy body to a certain beat-up building. Mallory and I had once called this place home in the past. I need to regain my strength and think of something. Nudging the door closed behind me, I tumble to the ground as the pain's intensity overtakes me. Footsteps and muffled shouts ring through the twilight outside as I try to control my ragged breathing. Unable to loosen my guard, I cling onto consciousness, causing time to stretch into an interminable haze. At that moment, the doorknob suddenly starts jangling. A shiver runs through my body as the door slowly swings open. With trembling arms, I push myself off the ground. I need to fight. Even if I didn't have a weapon, I couldn't let it in here. I need to fight back. Summoning the last of my depleted strength, I lash out desperately at the dark figure looming over me. However, my hand only brushes weakly against them. Amy? Is that you? Amy? This familiar voice. Mallory? Why was she here? What happened? Who did this to you? She cries out in a hushed voice as she brings her face close to me. Okay, that wasn't a hushed voice. I slightly yelled it. I messed up. The tension leaks from my body as I collapse to the ground. Pulling bandages and gauze from her bag, Mallory begins stripping me and applying first aid. As she tends to me, I lift my leaden arm and unwrap the handkerchief I'd been holding close until now. These things, they're the way to cure the burns. Take them and go. After delivering that message, I let my arm drop back to the ground. I shut my eyes. Now, even if I died, it wouldn't be in vain. Kalia and Atun, Lynette and Diamant. With this, they'll be saved. Mallory? When Mallory doesn't respond, I force my eyes open. Amy, you idiot! Her outburst stuns me into silence. I thought you promised. Why? Why do you always try to bear the weight all alone? Mallory, you're always like this. Always leaving me behind, always trying to go somewhere by yourself. Don't you understand how scary and lonely it is, wondering where you are? Wondering if you're safe? I hate it. Something hot and wet begins to drop onto my bare skin. You know, I've been looking for someone all day. When I couldn't find them anywhere, I didn't know what to think. She's someone very dear to me, you see. We've been through so much together. But sometimes, she puts a wall up around herself, isolating herself and never letting me worry about her. Even though it hurts so much when she does that, I could never bear the thought of losing her, you know? When Mallory finishes dressing my wound, she begins doing something inexplicable. She begins stripping off her clothes and putting the uniform I had been wearing on. What are you doing? Dread begins to well up in the pit of my stomach as I realize what she's trying to do. Even now, the sound of voices and slamming doors was drawing closer. You're being chased. Her voice was calm and steady, but not even the darkness could hide her trembling figure. No, don't. Ignoring me, she starts dressing me in her original clothes. Those people have lost their minds. Even if she managed to turn herself in, not even the guards would be able to protect her. I know, that's why we can't let them find you. Don't. Go. I grabbed her hand as she secures the handkerchief containing the cure back on me. Amy, for as long as I can remember, you've always been the one protecting me. I'm not as strong as you or as clever as you, but even I have things I want to protect. Idiot. What are you going to protect with these hands that are shivering so much? Please take care of my children. They're just like their mother after all. Little crybabies that get lonely easily but try to act strong. Mallory smiles that stupid smile of hers. Her smile twists and clenches something in me. It breaks and burns me. Goodbye, Amy. No. I'll see you later. Her voice quavers as she slips free of my grasp, leaving my outstretched hand behind. I wanted to stop her. I wanted to stop her with every fiber of my being, but there was no longer any strength in my body. Even now, darkness was encroaching on my vision. No, stop. I try to push the darkness back. Stop. But unable to resist any longer, I sink into a deep sea. The image of her receding back burned into my eyes. A sepia dream. Amy, you're making that face again. Her calmness only made my fury boil over more. You don't have to get angry for my sake. She continues to water her crops, patiently, tenderly. It was frustrating. Aren't you bitter? Aren't you angry? I am. But it's better to be hurt than to hurt another. If striking back only repeats a cycle, somebody must be the one to not strike back. That doesn't guarantee they'll stop. What if they keep hurting you? Even if it takes a while, I believe that they'll stop. Because I believe, in spite of everything, that people are truly good at heart. I couldn't accept what she was saying. The only way to ensure someone stops hurting you is to make it so they can't anymore. You know, when you hurt others like that, you end up hurting yourself as well. She stops and stands there quietly for a moment before looking back at me with a sad smile. That's why it always seems like you're in pain, Amy. I force my eyes open with a gasp. Mallory. I need to find Mallory. Wincing at the throbbing pain in my side, I pull myself to my feet. At first, I couldn't make sense of where I was heading, but before long I realized that I'd unconsciously set a path towards the Basia household. Kuh! Every step sent barbs of pain spiking through my body. But I couldn't afford to slow down. Leaning against a wall to catch my breath, I gather myself and push forward. "Mummy?" A voice suddenly calls out as I near my destination. The door swings open and a figure limps out. It's Auntie? "Mallory, your mother. Where's your mother?" I choke out a barely coherent question in between my ragged breaths, but Alouette only makes a troubled expression. "Mummy hasn't come back yet." A surge of electricity crashes over me at Alouette's response. "Auntie?" "Lynette and Dia, give them each one of these." I press 2 of the glittering stones into Alouette's hands before staggering back to the streets. My wound rips open as I break into a shambling gait, dyeing my bandages a fresh shade of red. But I don't stop. Please, please let her be safe. Dizzyingly fast yet nauseatingly slow, time taunts me. No matter how much I tried to push my body forward, it felt distant and unresponsive. Like moving against an underwater current. I'm almost there. Once I clear the top of this hill, I'll be able to see it. Auchinnues, Sockatrine's main hospital. A place that bore an unspeakable secret. Digging my hand into the earth, I claw myself to the peak. However, the scene that greets me offers nothing but despair. The area was basked in a sickening shade of light. Torches. The source of the light was a sea of torches. She's the reason. The people bearing those torches were crying out for blood. She's the reason so many haven't returned. She was there, at the head of the crowd, hanging from the orlop, her arms bound by rope. Someone I knew well. Someone that meant the world to me. Someone I couldn't bear to live without. "You shameless monster!" The crowd roars out. There were children who needed that cure. How could you? Mallory's head whips back as a rock soars through the air and strikes her. A thick line of blood begins to trace down her face. But even then, she doesn't move. She doesn't say a thing. She's not human. She killed 5 guards and injured 2. She even admitted to it. Mallory, why? I saw her running from the hospital earlier today. Oh, my darling. What did he ever do to you? He was just doing his duty and you killed him. You killed him, you monster. You witch. The sea of torches stirs and undulates like the belly of a massive beast. It was as if the word had sparked a madness in them. Kill the witch! Kill the witch! An unearthly chant steeped with insanity. It spreads over the people like a contagion, submerging and stripping them of their individual consciousness. The accused has pled guilty to all charges against her. No, stop. Ugh. Tumbling down the hill, I throw myself against the roiling mob. Under the unanimous discretion of all that are present, stop, she's not a witch. But it's no use. My voice gets drowned out, my body tossed around like a rag doll. The people sentence her to summary execution. The crowd shifts and surges as they're finally given the words they wish to hear. She's not a witch. Why won't my cries reach anyone? It's me. I'm the witch. They didn't care about the truth. They didn't care how full of holes her account was. They just wanted someone to lash out at. A sacrifice. Someone to take the brunt of their anger and sorrow. It was a witch hunt. Mallory. Kill her! I watch on as the candle falls. I watch on as it hits the ground, as it ignites the oil, and transforms the world. Burn her! The pyre dyes the sky a hellish glow. But rather than sate their bloodlust, it only seems to amplify it. Rock after rock, torch after torch, and curse after curse. Without end, they pelt her defenseless figure. Burn the witch! It wasn't enough to kill her. They wanted to trample everything of hers into the ground, to grind her memory into dust. No. Why had I forgotten? People are monsters. When driven into a corner, they'll turn on each other, devouring each other, eating away at each other, until nothing remains. Nothing. The world will kill and eat. I had known that. The world will kill and eat. So why had I forgotten? The world will kill and eat. Why? Alouette? Yes, Lenny? When are Mum and Pop-Up coming back? They'll be back soon, Auntie said. She said the adults are going to be busy, so it's my job to look after you and Dia. If Auntie said so, they'll definitely be back. I'm hungry. I hope Dia finds something for us to eat soon. There's nothing left in the kitchen, right? Nope, nothing. Dia went outside to look for food. When I gave Lenny and Dia the pebbles Auntie gave me, they got all better. But even though it stopped spreading on Lenny, it still covered a lot of Lenny. She couldn't move well, so she was in bed. I feel bad. Does it hurt? Oh, not like that. You and Dia are doing your best, but I'm just laying here and sleeping. But that's not Lenny's fault. Alouette knows. Lenny can sing. It'll cheer us up. Oh yeah, I just remembered. I learned a new song. I don't know what the words mean, but it's really pretty, and it's about you. Alouette wants to hear. Okay. I'll do my best. Lenny takes a deep breath. Alouette. Oh, I knew it. French. Yeah, I'm not gonna sing it, but yeah. The door makes a loud sound. Someone threw it open. Dia? What happened to you? Dia was breathing a lot. He looked messy. You're hurt. I got into a fight. Why? Why would you do that? Oh, Dia, you're bruised all over. They kept saying stupid things. It made no sense. Where did they hurt you? Alouette, can you help him? Yeah, Alouette will help. No, they didn't hurt me. I got hurt when I fell through them. Fell through them? No matter how much I tried to hit them, I couldn't touch them. No. Maybe it was my imagination. Maybe they weren't there to begin with. Or ghosts? No, not ghosts. Dia? Dia grabs his head. Just stop already, no more! He throws the curtain. Outside looked different. It wasn't what was supposed to be there. It's this dang mist. No matter where I go, I don't go anywhere. No matter what I see, no one's there. It's just us. It's just us in the world. Dia falls to the ground. He starts crying. What's happening? What's going on? The room becomes quiet, except for Dia's crying. Hey, Alouette. Mum and Pop-Up are coming back, right? Yeah, they're definitely coming back. Where are they? I miss them. I hug Dia. They'll be back soon. So let's do our best, okay? And she's still singing the French song that I cannot pronounce. Lenny, your voice sounds strange. That's weird. Why is that? Oh, the front door. I think Dia's back. Maybe he found something. Dia? Dia looked strange. He was all messy. Dia? What's wrong? Mum and Pop-Up aren't coming back home. What are you talking about? We're all alone now. The way he looked, it scared me. Dia? No, it's just a dream. It's just a dream we have to wake up from. That's right. I just have to wake up. Dia goes into his room. He closes the door. Dia doesn't come out for a long time. It's quiet in his room. I'm worried, so I go to check. Dia? It was dark. The curtains were closed. Dia, what are you doing? He was hanging from the ceiling. He wasn't moving. Are you sleeping? You should cover up, else you'll get a cold. I take him down. You see? You're already so cold. I tuck him into bed. That's better. You must be sleepy. Aluette will leave the curtains closed. Night-night, Dia. Rip to Dia. And French songs again. Lenny doesn't have to sing if she's tired. Okay. I think I'll sleep a little then. Okay. Aluette will stay at Lenny's side. Aluette will watch over Lenny. I pat Lenny's head. Sweet dreams, Lenny. Night-night, Aluette. I began to sleep a lot too. Mummy would probably scold us, because the three of us are sleeping so much. It's hard to move though. My body feels so heavy. I'm hungry. Auntie? Auntie came to visit. I'm glad. It's been a long time since someone visited. Food. No, Aluette will eat after Lenny and Dia. They haven't eaten. The two of us go up to Lenny's room. Look, Lenny. Auntie brought us food. Say, ah. Lenny was still sleepy, so I help her eat. Auntie makes a strange face, though, like she was in pain. I hope she's not hurt. Dia. Next we go to feed Dia. Dia, say thanks. Auntie got us something to eat. Auntie makes a strange face again. Maybe she wanted some too? We probably shouldn't have eaten everything. Now I feel bad. Auntie wants Aluette to come live with her? What was Auntie saying? That's no good. Aluette needs to take care of Lenny and Dia. Aluette needs to stay here until Mummy and Pop-Up come back. Aluette will be a good girl and wait, so that everyone can be together again. Everyone together. Together. Again. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this episode, so stay tuned for the next episode.
Thanks for watching!